I just discovered a trap that might be even trickier than the Alien Gambit. And it starts off the same, so we're gonna go for e4, and it's after the Caro-Kann. So I'm just gonna play the opening moves. And we're even gonna play the same variation with knight c3. As in the Alien Gambit, they're gonna take, we're gonna take. But here the Alien Gambit continues after the move knight f6. But some players here, and actually quite a lot of players, go for the Karpov variation. Anatoly Karpov used to play this, which is the move knight d7. It's a little bit more solid, but actually it can get quite tactical very quickly. And here we have again the same idea as in the Alien Gambit. We're gonna play knight g5. But from here things differ a little bit. And the most played move here, and quite an obvious move, is, okay, I don't see what the knight is doing, so I'm gonna play h6. Much like the Alien Gambit. Now you could go for Alien Gambit style attack, so you could take here, which is actually probably even better than the actual Alien Gambit, because this knight is here and this is here. But in this position you actually have another very interesting idea. And we're gonna start with our first brilliant move of the game, which is knight e6. And this looks like a weird move because we're not even taking that pawn, so black might think, okay, I can just take the knight. But that would actually already be a mistake, because here we can play queen h5 check. Notice the king can't move anywhere, and the check can only be blocked in one way, which is with g6. And that pawn is not defended, we can just take it, and that is checkmate. So that's the main idea, the first idea of this trap, because it's far from over. If black sees that, and on higher rating ranges they probably will, they need to move their queen, because we're also attacking their queen. So the best move here is queen b6. And here we're gonna play our second brilliant move of the game. We're gonna play knight g2, saying, okay, insisting, just take on knight, just do it. And yeah, this is why it's similar to the Alien Gambit, because we're actually giving up our knight. Notice that if they were to take, there is no queen h5 check anymore, so usually black here says, okay, now I can finally take the knight. Which he actually can, but it's really tricky, and it's an equal position, so this is, yeah, this doesn't really come with a downside, so to say. If you know what to do, it's just an equal position, so black's the one that, that needs to know a lot of moves. You are gonna play knight f4. And we're basically setting up the same trap. So if black is not careful and plays a random move, we are just gonna go queen h5 check. And again, they can only block here. And after this, now the king does have a move, but because we placed a knight here, this is actually checkmate. Notice how the knight is also preventing the king from escaping there. And the queen is blocking off this. So that's the other threat that in this position, this position, black needs to respond to. And the best move here, and also the most played and obvious move, is knight f6. You're saying, okay, I'm covering that square. Notice the queen can go there because they will just take it. So black thinks, okay, now everything is fine. But here we're going to continue with bishop d3. And you might already see the idea. Now the bishop is threatening similar things. So if they play a random move again, this time the bishop comes in. King has only one square, and this knight check is again a checkmate. Maybe even more beautiful because it's with a bishop and a knight instead of a queen. If you really want to, you can also flex here and just sacrifice your queen first and then go for this idea. But yeah, we're not like those kind of people, right? So again, they need to be really careful here. And there's actually only two moves for black here that just stay in the game and keep an equal position. Remember, it's still an equal position if they find the best moves. One of those two moves, here, and wait for it, it's knight b8. Yeah, that's one of the only two moves that stays in the game for black. And I've never seen anyone play this, and I think it's just really counterintuitive. I mean, you're just undeveloping your knight. Why would you do that? But it's one of the only two moves that stays in the game. The main idea is that if we now were to go for this and the king moves over, we don't have knight takes e6 checkmate because the bishop is now covering. Notice the knight moved away from blocking the bishop. So that's the main idea. But still in this position, yeah, we can just play on. We can castle here. Even in this position, I'm wondering, yeah, it's best to go for this. We can just castle, and it's an equal position. There's still a lot to analyze here, so if you want to go for this, definitely do some more preparing from this position. But it's an equal position. We have given up our knight, but yeah, the king is just stuck in the center. We are ready to attack, so black needs to defend for quite a while longer. So that's that. But I don't want to go too deeply into this because, like I said, in my experience, no one plays knight b8. The kind of more obvious move is king f7. Basically saying, okay, if you go for this now, I can just hide my king. So if I were to go for this, king just drops back, and yeah, the king is pretty safe there. And we still have something to play for, but that's not what we want. Instead here, it's best to bring our knight in, attacking the rook. Usually the rook moves. The engine funnily actually says best move is king g8 here even. So just giving up the rook, which we probably wouldn't take because this knight is just way better than a rook. That rook is just stuck. Yeah, usually they will move the rook and we can just castle. And again, it's just quite an easy game from here. The queen and the bishop have nice diagonals to work with. The rook can come in quickly, either through e1 or through a rook lift. And it's just really fun to play. And yeah, like the Alien Gambit, you have sacrificed the piece, but in this case, the engine actually says it's just an equal position. So yeah, and if anyone needs to watch out, it's definitely black because white's king is very safe and black's king is not. So yeah, I hope you like this. I hope this can add some spice to your Alien Gambit repertoire. And yeah, let me know if you caught someone in this one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.